he was upset with the neighbor for some reason and decided to shoot well over 30 rounds into this house, narrowly missing a 9-year-old child.
Hey guys, coincidentally, I'm in California, where our next guest was shot by a coworker. He's going to share that traumatic experience with us and really go into the details of what that was like. It's our first dive into true crime. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Well, my name is Chester. I'm just here to tell my story about what happened to me October 19th of 2011. Um, as soon as I get to work, I get informed by one of the other guys that some guy that we was working with went into the manager office to, I guess, snitch on another guy for having a shotgun inside the office getting worked on. We're not supposed to do that. Well, he's no, he if he had any issues, he should have just went to one of his supervisors to let us know what was going on, because we can lose the contract for that. So I informed my boss what was going on, and my boss told me to send him home. I was just gonna give him a write up. My boss told me to send him home, and I told him, man, because of what you did, it's best that you go home for the remainder of the rest of your shift. Um, a few of us guys was walking around. I think it's about 10. I go back into the office to write up my paperwork, and I felt like somebody like messing with the door, and I didn't get up. Luckily, I didn't get up to open it. And a few seconds later, the first blast, the shotgun blast, went straight through my arm, and he just started shooting through the window. I got hit once in my left arm, and I got grazed in my stomach. I fell back out of the chair and went into cover and started returning fire. But once I emptied my clip, because my left arm it was pretty much dead. I couldn't do nothing with it. I couldn't reload my firearm, so I just laid on the ground until the other two guys that was outside patrolling came into the office to assist me.
Chester, with that, I mean, did you feel when the bullet hit you? Did you feel it, or was it?
Soon as it went through, I felt it, and it like went numb like that fast. And the most of my pain was in my stomach where I got grazed. At my stomach was on fire. But my arm, I was losing a lot of blood, because when your heart is on your left side, and you pump more blood on that side, so I lost a whole lot of blood. Luckily, the fire department was like a department complex we patrol. The fire department was on the corner, so they just went against protocol and came to where I was at, and assisted with stopping the bleeding. When normally when it's a shooting, fire, or ambulance, they supposed to wait until PD come clear the scene, then they can come do their job. But not the guy. They just went against protocol, and just they knew it was us security, so they just came to come assist.
You said you were working security at the time?
Yes, in Richmond, California.
California. Man, and then so walk me through, after you get the medics to show up on scene, they get you to the hospital. Do you remember that, or were you kind of in and out of consciousness?
No, I never. So they put me in the ambulance. I got airlifted to the hospital. I remember that, and when I was talking to the guy, the medics in the back of the helicopter, I was starting to get sleepy. My eyes, my eyelids was getting heavy. But they told me, no, we can't allow you to go to sleep. And once I got to the hospital, I guess my wife, she met me at the hospital. Doctor asked me, "Do you want to see your wife?" I said no, because I didn't want her to see me like that. And he called her back anyway, so she gave me a kiss, and I went in. I think I was in surgery for like, I think 8 hours for them to repair or attempt to repair my whatchamacallit. Well, the doctor first told my wife that they was gonna have to, because of how big the hole was in my arm. They told her they may have to amputate my arm, but luckily he was able to save it.
No, you had mentioned to me when we were talking earlier when you were in the hospital, they actually kind
Uh-huh.
of gave you a different name to kind of cover you, right?
Yeah, because he was still on the loose. And when I guess when a guy that's like he's still on the loose and you in the hospital for a gunshot wound, then you get a whole different name. My name, I was 100 and I think 101 years old. My name was Tal Gray.
Yeah, that's it's definitely interesting, and that's smart that they did that.
Yeah.
Um, and so, you're in the hospital recovering. Do you know, like after the fact, how long was it before this guy got apprehended? Or
They caught him. Well, they caught him the next morning in Nevada.
oh wow,
Yeah, I think that was like 7 hours away. Yeah, they caught him in Nevada. He wanted, I guess he thought they was gonna kill him because first, they thought that he was gonna kill him, but they just let the dogs go.
and so he's living. He got a sentence for this. I'm assuming he got charged.
Yes, he got 20 years. Well, he just got out, probably a few months ago.
Man, and how long ago was this, Chester?
It's 2011.
2011.
Yes.
And so, what has this done to you to affect your life? As of today, I know you said your arm.
So on my top of my, I think you saw the scar that was on my arm. On my pinky finger and my ring finger, I don't have any control because all of my nerves they're shot. There's nothing, and no surgery will be able to repair them. But at my top of my arm, I don't have any feeling.
Man, that's just from kind of knowing you, it's you don't even really notice, um, unless you really tell somebody. So
Yeah.
I think you done well with that. And man, what was your initial thoughts after you come out of surgery and you kind of realize like what happened? I mean, what were you angry at this person? What were your thoughts?
So at first, I didn't know it was him because in our office during the day you can see out, and at nighttime you can see in, which is pretty silly to me. It's like what we dealt with on a day-to-day basis. It should have been at nighttime you can see out, daytime you can see in. But I didn't. While I was in the hospital, I didn't even know who. I thought it was one of the guys that we were dealt with on a day-to-day basis. I didn't know it was one of my coworkers that actually shot me until my wife. When I woke up, while I was talking to my wife, and she told me it was Long. That was his last name.
Man,
But I didn't know who it was.
what was your initial thoughts? Do you remember after you found out who it was?
Well, I wanted to cry, but I was in so much pain. I couldn't. I was angry. But then I was more angry at the company that I worked for because I got shot because of them. I was going if it was up to me, I would have just wrote him up and and that would have been it because the write up go by in the back of your file. But they told me to send him home. Even even when went to his last hearing, um, he was like shocked to see me because he thought he killed me. And I told him, I was like, man, I forgive you, but like you shot, if you wanted to kill somebody, well, it was all wrong. But if you want to shoot somebody, you should have went after them. Because I told him, it's like, man, I was just gonna give you a write up, and you didn't lose your job.
Yeah, so you had to face him in court, look him in the face, and I can't imagine that. I just think it speaks to your strength and your faith that you were able to forgive him and tell him that I've never been shot, but I don't know that I would be able to easily do that. And so I think that speaks a lot of your character. That's a tough situation. So did you, you don't mind me asking, when you got healed up, and did you go back to work doing security, or did you
No, I
move on?
couldn't go back to because my arm, it was like it. I think it probably took 6 months for me to get like movement in my wrist. My wrist was paralyzed. I couldn't do anything with it. But it was 6 months to a year. I had to go to physical therapy. They had to teach me how to use my arm again.
And so when he initially shot you, you were just you didn't even know it was coming.
Nope, because like he was like inches away from the window, and that's how far I was away from the window. If he'd have lifted that rifle up just a tad bit, he would hit me in the head, and I didn't even know he was outside the window.
Man, and you said he was shooting with a rifle. What kind of rifle was it?
It was a AK.
Man, did anybody else get injured during this event, or was it you that took the heat on it?
It was one of the guys that was. Well, it was actually two of them outside. But one of them returned fire to try to get him away from me, and it was the other guy. I always laugh because one of the other guys, he was hiding in the bushes. I always say that job is not meant for everybody. But
Man,
one of the guys returned fire, and the other one um, was hiding in the bushes. I told him, I said over the radio, man, y'all need to hurry up and get into the office before I die.
and so you felt at that time, you felt like there was a chance you were gonna die.
Oh yeah, because I lost. So it was like a horror movie. All the blood that I lost.
Well, I'm definitely thankful that you're here today, Chester, and
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate it.
you lived through that experience, and just the fact that you're here to tell it. You know, I've actually never spoken to somebody prior to this that has been shot, especially with a rifle that powerful. And I just can't imagine that. And so, do you have any worries now that you said he's getting out or he is out? Any worries about that or not really?
No, because he's on parole and he can't leave. I'm pretty sure he got to check in with whoever on a day-to-day basis, and he probably can't fly. Probably tell him they can't go anywhere. No, they were supposed to give us a call when they released him, but nobody ever called me or my wife.
Yeah, sometimes it breaks down the communication in the system,
Yes.
and it's unfortunate because it's a good thing you've kept up with it and you know that he's out. And so it's blessed to hear your story. Again, I appreciate you. It speaks volumes again to your character. You know, being able to forgive somebody face to face like that after they did something so horrible to you. It's hard to believe that something like that can happen in such a beautiful place such as this. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from Chester and the trauma he experienced and the different things he had to experience, you know, getting shot, just kind of going through that. I think it's a powerful episode. I appreciate you guys watching and kind of diving into us with the very first start of our true crime. This is, like I said, the first one that's been on the channel. So I appreciate you guys very much for watching. Make sure if you have an encounter, a story, even some trauma that you want to share, just email me. My email is strangeconspiracies88@gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Take care.